Welcome back to Daytime, folks. Parenting expert, author, and child advocate Joy Berry returns to Daytime with a little more talk about what it is as parents we can do to help ensure a more secure upbringing for our children. Hi, Joy. Thanks to see you.
Hi. Great to be here again.
In our Daytime studios. You have written a number of books about parenting, and you, of course, have had many children or children of your own. And we talked before about divorce. And we're going to take some of your questions from your Twitter site, and you have written one book here. This is specifically about divorce.
Exactly.
And a lot of things come up in divorce. This is from Ian, and he says, "What's the fine line between making or being a divorced parent and then spoiling the child as a result of that divorce?" And that's a hard thing because there's guilt involved.
Exactly. And first of all, you have to remember that trauma in a child's life can be a positive thing, because once they encounter that trauma and live through it, they can understand that you can survive beyond trauma, and they aren't so fearful about going and trying new things and maybe making mistakes, etc. So the divorce, while tough and challenging to go through, it can be a blessing in disguise. And what you want to encourage kids to do is to derive as much benefit from it as you possibly can. You know, I was just talking to someone in the green room, and we were talking about her divorce, and I was explaining how that, yeah, the son was saying, well, my father, he never wanted to be a father before, and now he's trying to be a father. And I was trying to explain to her, listen, teach your son. This is you sustained some hits here. Take the good out of this. You just may get the father you always wanted. Go with it. And in terms of spoiling children, I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, are you talking about loading things onto the kid? Or usually what happens is parents start getting more engaged with the children because they don't have the other person to kind of pick up the slack. And that's a good thing.
I think it's important to remember that children are children. They're people. They're not commodities.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Michelle. Michelle asks, what is the appropriate age to discuss the birds and the bees with your child, which is always an interesting situation that you find yourself in?
Well, first of all, you've got to understand that conversation about the birds and the bees needs to be an ongoing part of your discussions with your children, and you need to start it with their questions. That's when it begins. So when they see two dogs doing something in the park and they ask, what are they doing? Perfect opportunity to explain what's going on there with dogs. You don't need to take it beyond that, but that's those first steps. And the key is you don't have to give kids a lot of information in terms of more than they need. I don't know why, but we always think that we've got to go into the whole explanation of male-female adult relationships. And when they only want to know, why is that lady's tummy so fat? Or how did the baby get in there? And these can, you can have some pretty simple answers. But what I used to always do is I put on my shelf books about sex education, along with Bambi and Where the Wild Things Are and everything else. And we intersected with that information just as easily as we did anything else.
All right.
We didn't make it, something to spotlight.
Real quick, Joy. Real quick. What do you have to say when a child starts saying potty words or dirty words and they start thinking it's funny?
Well, that's a very, very predictable thing, isn't it? And you have to understand that kids want to be socially accepted, okay? And when it's not an acceptable thing, and when it's not going to work for them anymore, they'll stop on their own. Just ignore it.
Joy Berry, always great to have you here. Great information. For more information, please go to daytimeonline.tv and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/daytime TV show. Joy Berry, thank you again very much for being here.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Cindy, let's throw it over to you.
All right, great advice. We'll be right back with more Daytime, so stick around.